Good afternoon, everyone. I just want to start off by saying I don't claim to be an expert on this topic. I have, however, lived with overwhelming anxiety for the best part of my existence. What I hope to achieve from today is that by taking you all on my journey and explaining the techniques that I've used to overcome anxiety in my life, that I could even inspire one other person to feel like they have the ability to overcome anxiety in their lives. So when did I decide to make the change? Well, it was just over 3 years ago. I was very overweight, which meant that I was unhealthy and unhappy. I was stuck in a toxic job, which drained my mental health. And on more than one occasion, I had intrusive thoughts to leave this fabulous, chaotic world behind, all due to overthinking and anxiety. So what is anxiety? Well, to me, anxiety is a negative emotion given the immense power to multiply in its severity by our brain's inability to just shut off the negative thinking. For me, it meant I couldn't think logically or rationally, and it reared its head in a multitude of ugly ways, from panic attacks to social anxiety to overthinking. I'd almost manifested it into my life in the form of people-pleasing and in my inability to say no to people. Imagine not being able to say no to people out of fear of what they'd say and what they'd think. It also led into my low self-worth, my low self-esteem, and my lack of confidence, which fed into my imposter syndrome. My inner critic was on overdrive. She was so negative, in fact, that 3 years ago, her inner critic would have said, "Who did I think I was standing here today delivering a TEDx talk?" She would have said, "Who did I think I was and what value could I add to somebody else's life?" And she would have said, "Why do I think that I can be the change to stigma around mental health?" You see, it held me back from a lot of things in life. It held me back from taking opportunities, to experiencing new things, to saying no to a job, to saying yes to a job, to meeting new people. And all because of the fear of overthinking. I got to a point where I was so overwhelmed with anxiety that I would self-isolate. And when I self-isolated, I would self-isolate for days, weeks, months. And it affected my anxiety even more so. It affected my relationships with people. People didn't understand why I self-isolated and why I did what I did. And I wasn't ready to tell them why. I wasn't ready to tell them because I was afraid and because of fear and because of the stigma around mental health. I wasn't ready to be vulnerable. At the time, I worked in healthcare, and I had the absolute honor to look after patients in end-of-life care. And there's something so beautiful and honest about the vulnerability that the dying care to express. Some of my patients would say that they were so happy about the opportunities that they took and the experiences they had and just the happiness that's involved, and so proud of themselves for taking it. And then, of course, there was other patients who would express their regret. And when I would ask them why they didn't take the opportunity, they would say because of fear and overthinking. It was anxiety. It just wasn't labelled anxiety back then. The one thing that they both had in common was they both said to me, "Susann, take every opportunity that you want to take." So what I started to do was I started to envision what future 80-year-old me in a nursing home would say. I don't know why I'm in a nursing home, but that's what I'm imagining, okay? So I'm in a nursing home and someone's going to say to me, just take, for argument's sake, today, this TEDx talk. So someone's going to say to me, "Susann, did you do the TEDx talk?" And will future 80-year-old me say, "Yes, I did. I overcame my fear of public speaking just so that I could add value to somebody else's life that's suffering with anxiety, and so that I could make an impact, a positive impact. and I'm so proud of myself? Or is... Thank you. Or is she going to say, no, we didn't? And we didn't because of the fear of what other people are going to say about you, because of the judgment from other people, and because we didn't want to be vulnerable. Now, as you can probably tell, the latter always saddens me. Now, it wasn't just 80-year-old me in the nursing home that got me to where I am today, standing in front of you. So there was 3 really important things for me, and they were self-acceptance, self-awareness, and self-development. I had to become aware of my triggers in order to be held accountable for the situation and for how I was feeling, in order for me to be able to develop to where I am today. So fast forward 3 years on, I've lost over 6 stone. I've left that job. I've become an entrepreneur, and I've scaled a company from ideation stage through to nationwide distribution on my own. The imposter. Imagine. Thank you. I now say yes to every opportunity and experience, and I don't let anything hold me back. What I had identified was that my brain was my worst enemy, but it was also my biggest ally in overcoming anxiety. My ability to overthink was off the chart, okay? It would be a gold medal. So what I decided to do was I decided to use it as a superpower. And rather than overthink the situation, because with anxiety, it is a negative emotion based on future thoughts, okay? So rather than overthink, I decided to envision. And I started to envision a life free from anxiety, to have that mental freedom that I knew I deserved and I was capable of achieving. So I decided to ask my brain to envision what the best future version of me looked like. Now, my ideals 3 years ago and now is different. But 3 years ago, I envisioned that she was thinner, that she was able to fit into clothes that we always dreamt of fitting into. I envisioned what my partner would look like, what my family would look like, where I was, what I was doing, who I was doing it with, everything, absolutely everything. I envisioned the very best future version of me, down to my hobbies and down to what impact that I could have on the world, what positive impact I could have on somebody else suffering with mental health. So I decided to envision. And when I started to envision all of that, something struck me. I was happy. I was absolutely radiant. I just emulated happiness. But I never asked to be happy. And when I envisioned future best version of me, I didn't say make her look happy, make her be happy. And yet there I was, emulating happiness. There and then was my light bulb moment. It was my aha moment. And I realized that by reframing the questions that I asked my brain, that I could think of a happy solution. It didn't need to be a negative solution all the time, and I had control over that. So I started to use my visualization technique for everything in life to look for a better outcome. And it's easy when you know how. Yes, some people don't believe in it, and that's fine. But what I would like to do today is I would like to invite you all to take part in a visualization technique with me. And what I would like you all to do is, before we start, is to completely forget there's anybody else in this room. There is just you, nobody else. And listen to my voice, that's all. So give yourself 2 minutes for just you and fully immerse yourself in it and don't worry about anybody else. So I invite you all to close your eyes and take a big deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And again, in through your nose and out through your mouth. Now I want you to keep on breathing because I don't want anything to happen to you, okay? So while you're breathing, I want you to ask your brain to envision the absolute very best version of you. And while you ask your brain this, I want you to envision where they are, who they're with, what they're doing. Maybe they won the lotto. Maybe they got the very best news that they've ever wanted in their whole entire life. And right now in this moment, you're experiencing the happiness that you would feel when you got that call or that email or opened a letter or someone told you. So I want everyone in this room to feel into the happiness you would have when future best version of you got this news. I want you to get excited, get really happy about it. Just be so grateful for the happiness. I want you to feel that inside you. And I want you to pop your hands on your stomach. And in the next inhale, I want you to breathe in that happiness like you're holding it in for dear life. And on the exhale, I want you to breathe out any negativity, any anxiety, any worries, any stress. Breathe it all out. And on the next inhale, I want you to hold on to that happiness for dear life. Breathe it all in. And on the exhale, breathe it out. Now, I'd like to invite us all to open up your eyes again. My talk today and the technique is short and sweet. But I can say that without that very technique, I would not be standing on this stage in front of you all today. I wouldn't even be here. So I do invite everybody to envision happiness, because if you can envision it, you can achieve it, and everybody is deserving of that happiness. Today's theme is It Takes a Village, and it has just took an entire village to come together and raise the positivity in this room, to raise it to just happiness. I thank you for your participation, and I thank you for the opportunity to speak today. And I hope that in true TED fashion, that I have contributed to an idea worth spreading. Thank you.